what I love so much about this show is I get to learn a lot as well. I get to learn about every single person's company, business. I get to see their questions, their concerns, and then have a real conversation about, not only how I've, sometimes solved certain issues or have gone through something myself to share, but you always, in this format of just great discussions, both parties learn a lot, and I, again, love doing this show. I love talking all aspects of life and business, whatever it may be. Occasionally, maybe I overdo it. You know what I mean? My wife might tell you, like, I might be slipping into, like, my elevated, like, guru mode, when we should just be watching a football game, something real simple. But it's something that I really enjoy doing, and this show allows me to connect with a lot of great people and have great conversations, and even recently I was, on a podcast with a friend, and afterwards we were talking about the importance of clarity, and that clarity itself is sometimes very hard to find, and depending on how chaotic your existence is, being told to, like, the first thing you got to do is get clear. You got to be clear on what you do. You got to find clarity. You got to be clear. You got to define it, but I want to reset how important it is, and then talk through just some considerations on how someone can go about evolving into getting clarity. But I believe anyone who wants to find success in life must relentlessly be seeking clarity. Relentlessly. Because ultimately, clarity gives you the ability to see the detailed goals that you need to see. And detailed goals with systematized plans and action create belief. And belief is where you actually can do anything that your mind can conceive, right? Because at the end of the day, you've got to manufacture that belief through clarity, through detailed goals, through action, right? In order to believe that something is actually possible and that you go out and do it. And there's so many additional benefits to clarity, right? Because it's like, it's developed and understood, and now you have learned it, and it makes more sense to you. It's more easy to you. You understand more why you're doing it. You want to do it even more, right? It's like the better you understand something, the more clear it is. It makes it so much more doable in your mind, and the benefits of that are in everything. It's everything, because you want to have total understanding of why you're doing something, and then you want the belief that you can actually do it, and that all comes from relentlessly seeking clarity, And for me, it's something that you don't just automatically become super clear, right? Like, no matter what, you're going to go through a process, but in this world where you're trying to evolve and be better and build a company, be more consistent, be stronger, be a better person, be a better version of yourself, create your ideal life, all of these things need to start with you taking action on just defining them, right? And even if you're not entirely clear in the beginning, like, just going through the process of defining what you want, you will begin to get clearer and clearer over time. Because the more energy you put into it, the more action you take towards it, the clarity will begin to build. It will reveal itself to you over time. And what that does is then energizes you, gives you more belief, allows you to build a clearer path and a more detailed plan as you begin to do it. But the thing about it is you have to try, and if it's really hard for you to define a goal, then you gotta. Let me say, for example, if it's hard for you to define a much bigger goal, then you've got to break down into simple things that you know you want to do, that are very easy for you to understand, and do 10 small goals that you know you can do instead of one big one. Right. And because a lot of times you get overwhelmed with like, you want to do a company, but how do I leave my job? And I don't know. I feel like I'm tired all the time, and like, oh, I want to work out too. But I got to eat healthy. Oh, I got to stop going out as much. Like you can, there's all of these different things that affect your ability to find clarity, and you've got to take the time to identify what those are, and begin to knock those out one at a time, in order to be able to look beyond what is clouding you. But like everything else in life, you got to take the action, and the moment you make the decision to do it is when everything changes. I people say it all the time, but like, I don't care what it is, whether it's starting a company, getting into shape, like, even if it's great X factors, like trying to find a relationship, for me, before I met my wife, I decided I was no longer going to live this way. Like I started to think about who I needed to be before I could create the place that would be a place where the woman I would like to be with would want to be. There's all aspects of your life that require, defining in order to actually go out and realize. And that is one thing that I really implore in all aspects of your life, is continually, relentlessly define what it is that you want to do, and the things that you don't understand, learn everything about it, if it is in fact part of the goal that you want to achieve. Because the clearer you can make a goal, the more you believe it, the more energy you'll have towards it, the quicker you will accelerate towards it, the more belief you will build on the way there, and it will transition from pretty clear to super clear to, in your mind, there's no doubt that you're going to achieve it. That is the process. In everything that you do, you should constantly be putting energy into seeking clarity, because ultimately that is going to be the quickest and clearest path to actually achieving what you want to do. And look, I think everybody's different in how it works for them. And again, on all these things, you just gotta like put in the effort to identify and really understand where you're putting in energy with intention, and eventually it reveals itself to you with the right amount of effort.